Yes, indeed. It is 5 Minutes of Focus podcast. I am your host, John Alvarado. And of course, with me this afternoon is my really good friend, Crystal. She's a powerhouse in the business industry, finance industry, whatever you want to call it industry. She's she's a badass. What can I say? So, of course, I had to get her on the podcast. Crystal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Dang, John, that's a good ass intro.
You want to go on the road with me? Huh? I'll take you. We'll go on the road and we'll just introduce each other. We'll just be fire.
That's a good intro. I like
it. Yeah. So no, I think the biggest thing is, Crystal, you're huge in the finance industry, right? I'll definitely give you a chance to speak on that. But one of the things, the reason why I got you on here was you're huge into mindset.
Yes.
And I'm all about talking to people that are in there, just have this elevated mindset, right? And so I want to talk a little bit about with you how that looks like day to day for you, how you function, how you get your mindset for the day.
Yeah.
And then I want to open it up. So hopefully you're ready because this podcast is going to go deep. So yeah, I want to start with that. Yeah, there you go. I like it.
Yes, I feel like once I started really focusing on my mindset, I started getting better results in my life. I feel like I didn't understand. I really didn't understand how that worked when I first started to try it. Like I was kind of confused, like how does this work? Like obviously, like example, meditating. When I started meditating at first, I was kind of skeptical about it.
Okay.
I didn't know if this was like something that really worked or like. But since I started reading a lot of books about like personal growth, a lot of them talk a lot about meditation. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever these books are saying to do and see if something happens. And I'm not even lying. I started meditating every single day. Like at first I didn't feel anything, but I started doing it like I said, consistency. I started realizing it, oh my gosh, like it's like magic.
Wow.
It's so weird. Like I started seeing all of these like my life just took a whole turn without me even trying. I just literally just meditated every day. And I was like, oh my God, like we're such powerful human beings. It's all in our mind. So once I started seeing how my life started upgrading, that's when I got more into it. I was like, okay, let me keep reading on this. Like, what else can I learn? And I got more like in love with educating myself to learn more things because I know this is just the beginning. So then I really started learning on meditation, but just how to be very present because I feel like it teaches us how to ignore those outside voices because there's so much noise in this world. And when we listen to those noises, that's where we kind of get stagnant in life. Yeah. But when we meditate and really tune in ourselves and learn how to be present, you feel more joyful in life. Like it doesn't matter the materialistic things, but you just feel more joyful in life. Like, wow, like I'm here. I'm so grateful to be here. Like I have my kids in front of me.
Wow.
Or like I have food and water, maybe it's not like the most expensive, food, whatever, but we have everything that we need is in front of us.
Man.
And God always provides us with the things that we need, if we believe it,
Okay.
So that's kind of how I started on my personal development was meditation. And now I can't go a day without meditating. Like I have to meditate. Every day I wake up, I started also waking up super early. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day.
Love it.
Because I also realized I kind of, how do I say it? Like, yes, I went through that meditation stuff, but then I fell back to myself.
Okay.
So you kind of had to catch yourself like, oh my God, you're going back to the old person that you don't want to be no more, So then I had to go through the struggles again. And I was like, wait. Why am I putting myself back in the same Crystal that I didn't want to be anymore? Like I gotta go back to who this new Crystal I'm trying to be. So then I had to be strict with myself. Like I have to force myself to get up, even if I don't feel like getting up. Discipline. So you could have motivation, but motivation doesn't last. You have to learn how to create better tasks or better, what is that word? Not tasks, but better, discipline, creating better boundaries in your life, So I forced myself to wake up, even though it's super hard at 4 a.m. But I forced myself and I would make myself go to the gym every morning. And then the more I forced myself to do it, the more I started training my mind.
Wow.
New habits. There you go. Creating better habits. So I started training my mind better habits. And then it all comes from habits. Even the smallest little habits that we do, like washing our plates before we go to bed, make sure there's nothing in the sink. Or like, we have to do our bed before we leave our home, because if we don't do our bed before we leave our home, that small, one little, thing that you did not do is how it's gonna reflect how the rest of your day is gonna look,
Yeah.
And I was so bad at that. Like I was bad at being clean. Like I was just all over the place.
Yep.
Like all over the place.
And I bet your life was all over the place
And
too.
that meant my
Right.
life was all over the place. So I was like, oh my gosh, like it starts with my smallest habit. Like
Oh,
I gotta
man.
do this at home. It all starts from home, because then that's how my reality is gonna be,
Yeah.
That's kind of how I started.
Wow.
And I'm not trying to say my life is perfect now, because no, I gotta catch myself, because sometimes I could fall back. And then I'm like, no. It's all about catching yourself. As long as you know, like, oh my God, I wasn't okay. Like, let me make sure I get this done. Because
So
it's never
true.
gonna be perfect. Like, you're not gonna ever be perfect, like doing everything at the time that you're saying to do. But as long as you catch yourself and you like sit back and like reflect on it and remind yourself, like, no, hold up. This is not what I'm supposed to do. Like, let me go back.
Yeah.
Take a couple steps back,
What advice would you have for people that are striving to just be too perfect?
You gotta just live in the moment and accept that we're human beings and that nothing's ever gonna go our way. I feel like I realized as soon as whoever, the universe, God, whatever you guys believe in, once you hand over your keys to that bigger thing,
Yeah.
you kind of realize like, okay, I'm not in control. Like, yes, like you create better habits, you're working on it, but just know that you're not always in control and it might not go the way we want it to go. And being okay with that, it's gonna make you just feel more peaceful, because you know that at the end of the day, maybe today didn't go the way I wanted it, but what can I learn off today? Maybe he was trying to teach me something. Maybe he's trying to help me progress into a better person from these things that I didn't like today,
Yeah.
And just believing that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, already knows what tomorrow is going to consist of for you.
Yeah.
They already know the decisions we're going to make, but guess what? They already have it planned out or figured out on how to get us back on track if we allow it and we believe it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that it should just be a let go of the control, because you don't really have control. I think a lot of us like to think that we do, but ultimately we can only control how we respond.
Yes.
The
There
best
you
way to
go.
describe it, right?
That's the best way to say it. Yes. You just literally like my whole like long sentences, you just cut it down into that one
But
way.
we needed to hear that though, because that's why I'm saying we needed to hear that part
Yes.
in order to
It's
just
true.
kind of, wrap that up and put a bow on it.
That's so true, because yes, that's amazing how you said it though. That's very
But
true.
but I love it too. I mean, I just go back a second. You talk about making your bed. You talk about doing these little tiny things, doing the dishes before you go to bed. It's not leaving it for the next day, and you're a finance person. So I'm gonna put you onto something that I learned here,
I'm
right?
excited. Okay.
Think about credits and debits. I want you to think of it that way, right? Is when you do something the night before, you're putting a credit back into the day, right? For the next day.
Oh my God, that.
But when you leave the dishes for the next day, you're now debiting from tomorrow
Yes.
because you don't feel like it today.
I
That's the best.
I love that perspective.
It's the best way I can put it.
Wow.
But it's true.
Very
You're
true.
robbing tomorrow because you're saying, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yes.
You're robbing your whole day, right? Because now all of a sudden you're now saying tomorrow at some point I've got to put the dishes away.
Yeah.
Where you could have made a credit tonight and added more time for the month. This is the thing. We all get the same 24 hours, right? But it's how we use that 24 hours.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, what did you do to prepare for the next day so that you open up your day to maybe some new opportunities that wouldn't be there because you're so mad because you still got to do the dishes and you still got to do this, and you still got to do that, plus all your everyday stuff.
Yes.
It's crazy. So that's the light bulb I'll give you on that.
I really love the way you like that perspective, because it is true. Like, I feel like the more you want to progress in life, it starts with the little thing, because everything's connected. Everything's the same thing. It's just changing the object.
Yep.
But everything's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I love that. Like, you literally just made my brain expand.
Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, and because you're a finance person, it's so appreciated, right? Because now you can not only think about it from the bank, from what you got money wise, but how am I robbing myself for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, by leaving this pile of clothes for tomorrow, maybe I didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
Maybe my kid was up all night sick. Maybe I was up all night not feeling good, or I couldn't sleep, but you still got to get up. Even if you went to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, you still got to get up, and you still got to do the laundry.
Yeah.
Which maybe you're doing slower because you didn't feel good.
Yeah.
It's game changing.
Yeah,
It
that
really
is very game changing. And you know what happens when you start showing up for yourself in those little habits? You become happier and you start believing in yourself again. Because I feel like you lose when you say I'm gonna do something and you don't do it, you keep lying to yourself, and that kind of makes you sad or depressed at a certain amount of time. I mean, at a certain point, because literally, like, that's something I say these things because I've lived it. You know, like that's the only reason why I say it, because I'm like, why am I feeling so depressed? And then I think back, like, well, I haven't been showing up at the gym like I said I would. I kind of stopped waking up early. I kind of, like, you know what I mean? I started doing this again. So yeah, you get depressed because you're not showing up for yourself. And you know you could show up for yourself, but you're not keeping those promises to yourself.
It's true.
So if you say you're gonna do something, you gotta do it right there and then you gotta do it.
But and the other thing too, because imagine this, right? You run a team. Imagine if you don't show up for you, how are you supposed to show up for everybody else?
Oh my gosh, yes. And
right?
You know what's crazy is as I started my team, I felt like I fell more in love with life. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I fell more in love with life because I realized that how am I going to manage all of these people? Well, I can't control everything, but what I can control is myself. Ooh. So if I'm, committed to this, that means I got to show up my best self. Of course, we're going to have our down days, which is normal again, but learning off of those down days. But I had to learn how to show up for myself every single time, Wow. So if I'm showing up, it's an energy thing. So if I'm showing up for myself, I'm showing up for the business, they will see it or they will feel it energetically that they will also want to show up the same way, if that makes sense. And if they don't, and it's okay if they don't, because you got to be okay with people that are not on the same mission or on the same personality or, vibes as you, because it just means it's not the right time for them right now. So that, again, that's letting go of the control and just understanding it's not you, it's not me, it's not that I'm not trying my best to help them, but maybe they don't allow
it's not their season.
It's not their season yet.
Right.
So they have to go through these like challenges. So then at the right time, then they'll click in their head, like, okay, now, like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how I see it.
And it's really good, right? Because I think the other part too is don't meet somebody, just because you're on chapter 20 doesn't mean everybody's on chapter 20. So some people are on chapter 1 and you have to meet them there.
Yes.
And meaning, starting so simple with Crystal, I'm depressed, I'm broke, my kids are overwhelming me, I have no life, when you hear all that stuff, you realize now you have to take a step back and go, okay, I used to be there.
Yeah.
What did I do? Yeah. What did I start with? If I was too embarrassed to seek somebody else, what did I do? So then guess what? Because you're equipped with those tools, you go in there and go, you know what? I'm going to start simple. Why don't you just do this for me for a straight week? Yeah. And we're going to build some momentum. Make your bed before you leave the house. That's all I want you to do. Start simple. Yeah. And then once you can say you did that, we're going to add momentum. Guess what? Next thing you know, they're on chapter 2.
Yeah.
And they're moving. And then pretty soon you're building other leaders.
I love that.
That's the best way to do it.
I love that because you know what's crazy? Like in our team meeting, not our team meetings, but the whole industry that we're in, we get off the Zoom, like over like people. A lot of times they're like telling you, oh, just find people that are better than you or at your level. So it makes it's easier to grow the team faster.
Sure.
And I do believe in that. Like, yes, that makes sense. But I feel like my mission is to help as many people as I can. It doesn't matter what stages they are in. So I feel like I find myself not just bringing in the best out of the best. I'm also bringing in people that are at chapter 1. Yeah. But I like it because it reminds me of when I used, like how you said, like when I used to be there. And it's training me as well as a leader, how to just be a better leader. You know? So I like those challenges, like I'm gonna bring this person from here to here. Yes. And I cannot wait to see them here. I think that's what brings the excitement in me.
That's it.
So
100%.
I love that you say it that way, like starting though at their level, like not trying to be, because sometimes we could come off like perfection, like this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do, and they're like,
and they're overwhelmed.
Like,
hold on a second, what? I don't have that.
Like, how do I even do that?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to
well, you have to create the picture for them.
Yeah.
Right. They have to be able to see. Some people need that full-blown blueprint,
Mhm.
right? And then all of a sudden they're like, well, what happens here? You know what? We'll deal with that when we get there.
Yeah.
The goal is to be present.
Yeah.
And it's just, you realize though, Crystal, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
If you miss a day,
Yeah.
you miss 2 days, you're missing 3 days, guess what? How are you a good leader? How are you telling them show up every day, but you've missed 4 out of the 5 days? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's an insult to those that are waiting for you to level up for you to miss.
Yeah.
So to your point, you really have to be disciplined with your own stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's the only way that you can actually lead a team. But at the end of the day, if you're not hard on yourself, it's not going to happen.
People, I feel like they don't really listen to what's coming out of your mouth. They listen by action. So the less you talk, but the more you do,
There you
the
go.
better. The
That's
better
so
for
true.
them to be like, well, she keeps showing up for a reason. Like
Yeah.
maybe I should be showing up more.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, why hasn't Crystal taken the day off?
Yeah.
Right? They're looking at you funny, and you're just like, look, it's like and I think you and I kind of have the same gym journey, right? It's not about getting buff and getting tone and it's literally because I said I would.
Yes.
Have you ever done that? Like
Yeah.
that? And the thing is, everybody's like, why are you going out? The other day when it snowed, I was at the gym. You're crazy. I'm like, it's just because I said I would.
Exactly.
If the gym's open and I can get to it, why am I not going?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a promise that I have to make to myself, that I do make to myself. Same thing for you, right? Whatever promise you keep or you say, you got to keep it.
Yeah.
As soon as, like you just said it, if you start lying to yourself, then people see it all over you. Oh, Crystal just wants my money. She just wants a quick sale. She just wants it. There's no heart there.
Yeah.
But if you can say, look, I pulled myself out of this. Here's how I did it.
Yeah.
And you can lay out that blueprint for them, the rest is easy.
Exactly. I love
You know what I
that.
mean?
I love that. Yeah, I believe the same thing. Like at first, when I first started going to the gym, is because I wanted to hit a certain goal. But
But then
now,
that fades a little bit though.
yeah, it's like, oh, I don't really care for
And
that.
that's why people quit, because they're like, oh, I don't see these buff arms or these wicked shoulders.
That's true.
You quit. So then it has to be another level, right?
Another
So then
level.
what was that level for you?
My mindset. Like it's weird, but when I run on the treadmill and I'm listening, I always listen to motivational stuff as I'm working out.
Nice.
And literally, like, I put on the treadmill 30 minutes, I'm running. But then I'm like, even though the 30 minutes came, I still continue to run. Like, I'm gonna keep going until I really, really, really can't no more.
Man.
And I feel like I'm fighting my mind as I'm running. Like, I'm like a weird person talking to myself, like, I'm gonna keep going because I believe I could do more.
Yes.
And then I tell myself, like, how bad do I want this? And when I say how bad do I want it, it's not about the running. It's about how bad do I want my dreams in life that I have.
Go.
And so I keep telling how bad do I want to run it so bad. So I keep running. And that's what pushes me to keep going.
Yes.
You know, and then after I'm done, yes, my legs are wiggly and hurtful, whatever, sore. But I feel so
You're
like
so proud. Are you proud of
I'm
yourself?
so good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Proud of
like,
yourself.
yeah. So it's
It's-
such a great, like amazing feeling, you know?
And you can only get that feeling from really obviously doing it for yourself, right? But at the same time, can you imagine when you build that chapter one person and they're on the stage, how proud you'll feel?
Yeah.
It's that feeling that we chase, right? But it's a different feeling from like a regular dopamine hit, right? Where you
Yes.
just get from, eating your favorite food or whatever. It's one of those things where you had to put in so much work.
Yeah.
So much extra time, so much extra effort, like what you do for yourself in this person.
Yeah.
And are you willing to do that? Because if you're not, get out of this space, then don't even sit in the space because you're going to be frustrated.
Exactly.
Because most people will frustrate you because they're not there.
Yeah.
But the question is, can you take a step back and go, hey, all right, it's fine. I know you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? We'll reset, but then you start again.
I love
You know what
that.
I mean? You're patient with
You're
it because
patient.
you're patient with yourself.
Exactly.
So
And I've been reading a lot of like leadership books now that I'm like meeting people, because obviously we never stop learning. We gotta always keep learning, you know, and I don't want to make poor choices, you know. So I want to educate myself as much as I can. So I've been reading these like leadership books, and one thing I've learned was just being a caring person for others. And like understanding that, how you said, people are not at the chapter that you're at, but just understanding and being patient with them and just really caring about them. Like, hey, let's talk. Like, what can I do for you? Like, how can I help you? Like, you seem off.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And genuinely trying to understand them and be there for them because people will see, wow, like they really care about, like, wow, you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of workspaces are needing. Like these
Yeah.
CEOs or like my boss, like they don't care. They just on the clock, they tell you what to do. But it's really hard to find those, bosses
It's true.
that's why I'm not a boss. I'm not a boss. But those actual like structured companies that have a boss, like they're just on the time and they just tell you do this, do that, do this, do that. But that drains people, because people, like I said, they don't really care about people.
No.
They don't. They
No.
just know they have to get paid and tell them what to do.
Exactly.
And I don't see it like that. I see this as God gave me the opportunity to be here, have a team of people that's just gonna be growing and growing and growing. And the best thing that I could do is just give them, give them the tool, but also if they're not doing it, just being understanding and trying to understand how to help them navigate through their life's struggles,
Because, we've all been in that dark space. We've all been in that level of where you're just like, Crystal calling. I can't even deal with her right now. And it's not because it's you. It's because of what they're going through.
Yeah.
The key is, can you create a safe enough space for them to come to you? Like, look, I'm going to confide in you right now.
Yeah.
And you listen with no judgment and turn around and go, you know what? I'm just listening. That's it. I'm not going to offer any advice. All I'm going to do is say that I'm here for you in whatever space you want me in.
I love that.
So if you want advice, absolutely, I'll give it to you. But I'm not going to just say, this is what you should do. Imagine this, right? Imagine your kids being the ages that they are, and you'd say, you better do this.
Yeah.
Think about when you were a kid and somebody said, you should do this, and you better. Nobody likes to be told what to do.
That is so true.
Right? Nobody loves they don't love that. But I will say, it's the same thing for adults. Don't tell us what to do, but you can create a story.
Yeah.
So you know what? You know what happened when this happened to me? Let me give you my dark story.
Yeah.
And people then get invested in that. Yeah. Wow.
So
you were here too?
Yeah.
Like, how did you even? And so then all of a sudden
true.
you're opening up a conversation that's safe.
That's so
It's
true.
not me telling you what to do. It's me going, here's what happened to me.
Yes, that is so true, because that builds trust. Because they're like, wow, well, they went through the same thing. Like, that's trust right there.
Yes.
That's how they get
100%.
it. That's so true. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I really love that.
It's good. I mean, this is the thing. You and I could sit here and just go ham on this. It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I would say this as we just kind of wind this thing down. What would you tell people that might be struggling with mindset right now? Where would you tell them to go? Would you tell them to seek somebody out? I'm just curious on how you would answer that.
I feel like everyone should always have a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor. Even like the people that are making millions of dollars, they all need a mentor.
Love it.
Because, we can't do things alone. Sometimes we need to hear someone else's perspective. But what I would say is pray.
Wow.
I feel like praying really, like, there is a higher power, whatever you want to call that higher power, there is, and it does exist. And I feel like when you really just can't go on anymore, you're really that low, just literally get on your knees and pray to whatever you believe in and just talk to them. They're literally one conversation away. They're literally right there. They never abandon us. Like,
wow.
He never abandons us. Like, he's always there waiting for you to ask for his help. Because we were not placed on this earth to do everything alone. We were placed on this earth for a reason. We all have a purpose, and maybe you might not know that purpose, just like I didn't know my purpose a while back. Now I feel like God has unfolded like my purpose. Obviously I'm gonna keep learning as I go, but just taking that one step of, I'm gonna just sit here and talk to whoever it is that's up there and release it, because it's weird. Like, you get like a weird sense of like there's someone present with you. It's so weird. Like, you can't see them, but you feel it. Like, you just feel like if it's a father, like you just literally vented to, and that's all he's waiting for. He's just waiting for us to have one conversation with him.
Yes, I love that. No, that's so good. Faith will set you free 100%.
Yeah.
And to your point too, the other part is get a mentor. There's, obviously we know there's a lot of fake material on socials. I would say, just anything on top of that, just make sure that.
John.
Oh.
He's so good. Like, honestly, I had one conversation with him the other day, and I was like, dang, he went so deep that I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Like,
I made her cry.
I cried. Yeah. Like, and that's a good thing though. You need people like that to remind you, get you back on track. Some people might say, it's because I don't have money. But guess what? If you get a mentor and you find a way to pay them, your life is just going to progress a lot better. And guess what? You might even receive more money in your life.
It's game changing. It really is. It helped me.
No, seriously. Like, seriously, like, people are like, oh, I don't have money for that. Like, but if you find a way to pay for it, just like you find a way to pay for your home, for your cars, or you know what I mean?
Yes,
like, it's all there. Like,
perspective.
There's so much money in this world, so much money. Like, everything's energy, And if you believe, I don't know why I'm getting out of track. I feel like I'm getting out of track.
Oh, this is good. No, this is all good.
If you believe that you have to work so hard to earn some kind of money, you are so wrong.
Wow.
If you just believe, like, I am worth, like how you said, I am worth getting this money, I am worth it. Like, it will come to me. Not just saying I will come to me, but actually believing that it will come to you. It will come to you. Like, it's just, you have to start working for money. Like, I know it sounds weird because I feel like the society teaches us that we have to work, put extra hours to earn money. I'm like, no. We are the own creators of our own life. So what we really need to do is create something that is in us and bring it to life. Like, it's already in us, but we got to bring it to life. And as soon as we bring it to life and you're happy doing that, the money will flow to you eventually. Because if you're doing a job that you actually really hate, that's why you have to put extra hours in, because you're not getting paid enough money. Mm-hmm. Like, you get more money when you start doing something you really, really love, because you show up every single day. It's not what you do. You could go out there and clean houses, but if you show up cleaning houses so excited, so happy to serve them, the money will come to you. A lot of money will come to you. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's just, what matters is the energy that you're putting into your job. Like, and that's what I've realized,
That's so good. It really is. That's the thing, because I don't think people realize is that, you could love what you do and it doesn't matter what you do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing is I've met people who are like, I can't be in an office.
Yeah.
But I love my job outside as a park ranger.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. Just go. And this is the thing I tell people all the time, just go do what you love.
Yes.
Right? Do whatever you love, go do that.
Yes.
And people are like, well, I don't really know what I love. Well, then you should probably figure that out, right?
Yeah.
You should figure that out first before you just beg and plead for whatever.
Yes.
What gets you up in the morning where you're just like, I can't wait to do this? That's what you do.
Yes.
Right?
Literally. Like, I love that, because I know, like, when we're trying to figure it out, it's like our hardest times. Because we're like, well, I just don't know, because I didn't know either. But I promise you, if you just have faith that eventually, like, you'll figure it out, like, It will come to you. You just gotta ignore the noises outside.
Right.
You gotta meditate. You start with the small stuff. Start meditating. Start speaking. Yes. Start creating better habits. Start speaking to the higher power, and just pay attention. Be present, because if you're present, the signs are all over you.
Oh, they really are.
But we don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, because we're too busy.
We're too busy in our day-to-day lives. Like, our day-to-day lives, we're too busy. But I promise you the signs will be there.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention, you start getting a better understanding. And write a lot. Everything you think, or like whatever comes to you, just start writing. Because your subconscious mind will start talking to you as well. The more you write, the more, maybe at first you'd be like, well, what do I write about?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just start writing random, whatever.
Just start writing.
And then little by little, the longer you start writing too, your subconscious mind will start speaking to you, like, where did all these feelings and all these things start coming out?
Yes.
So that's also really good. Journaling. Yes. Journaling is really good. So I would recommend those.
There's your top 5 right there, right? I mean, you really got to make your bed, talk to the higher power, whatever that looks like, journal, meditate. I mean, man, and the other thing, one of my friends said this too, speak life into yourself,
I love that.
Not death.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the way that I understood it was speaking death is going, I'm broke.
Yeah.
speaking death is, nothing good ever comes to me, or if I have any luck, it's bad luck. All those things are, you're just literally revalidating how you think, and it's actually forcing you
Creating
that way.
more of
But
that.
if you speak life and changing it and doing these little things, like you say, showing up, you start to realize your universe starts to shift like and then pretty soon you look up and you're like, when did I get here?
Yay!
It's crazy, right? You just said it. You're like, I've been there and now I'm here. And in a million years, I never thought I would be here. But I also know I have to keep fighting to keep that life away.
Yeah,
Because I don't want that life anymore.
exactly. Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's weird because they'll try to bring you back. Like you'll do little things.
An old friend coming back into your life.
You're like,
wait a minute, what? Why am I going this way? Or is this a test?
is this a test?
Well, that's only for you being present in the moment that you'll be able to figure that out.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you get sucked into the old you, and pretty soon you're like, oh, how did I do this? Why did I? Oh, this was stupid. You start beating yourself up. There's too much that goes into this, and you have to be focused 100% of the time.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you have to be perfect, and doesn't mean you can't have bad days.
Yeah.
You can still have bad days. It's just how do you navigate those bad days?
Yeah.
Or I could even say it's not even a bad day, but a bad moment.
A bad moment.
Let's
I
go with
love
moments.
that.
Let's go with moments instead.
Bad moment.
Because you can have a bad moment, but not a bad day.
Exactly.
You cannot let that one thing ruin your whole day.
Ruin your whole day. Exactly. You gotta snap out of it. Put some 80s tune.
The 80s. What's up with the 80s? I love it.
One thing I really just I feel like when I'm going through it, and you guys can find your own. Everyone's different, so you gotta find what makes you brings you back to life again. I'll just put some happy 80s, and then I get excited. I start dancing. I'll be
start
good.
realizing,
I'm
right?
I'm good. I'm alive. We're good.
You realize the guy cutting you off had nothing to do with you, right?
Yeah.
That's what you start realizing is, you don't want to go curse him out and do all this stuff because what does it really matter? Does it even matter? I have countless examples, and we can go all day on this. But Crystal, how do you want to wrap this up? You want to say anything last minute before we just close this fire podcast out?
I want to say, when you said that about the boy and us for closing it out, but the boy, how I'm gonna go kiss them out or they left me, whatever.
Yeah.
That's becoming or going into his personal journey, and learning about personal development. I realized that it helped me also in my relationship with people.
Wow.
Because I realized if something doesn't work out, I accept it now. My old self would be like, oh,
you want to cling
I would
on
beat
to
myself
it.
up,
What did I do?
But then I'm no, it's just they have a different journey.
There you go.
They're learning something right now. They're going through something right now. So you just gotta let it go.
Wow.
And understand it's never you. It's never ever you. It's
And that's another form of letting go is control.
Yes, letting go of control. Exactly.
Right? Let them do them because they're gonna do it. It's just how do you respond, which we said that.
Exactly.
You can control how you respond. So instead of being like, I want to get them back, I wanted this, I wanted that, it's so much easier to just walk away from it. And don't even look back. I accept the circumstances. I don't like them, but doesn't mean I have to do anything else except for just keep doing me.
Keep doing you.
Right?
Exactly. But no, honestly, to close it out, all I gotta say, guys, is that we're all humans. We were all put on this earth to figure it out. Just be easy on yourself and just remember that tomorrow's not promised. So look at today as if it was your last day and just be happy.
Oh.
I know it's super hard to be happy when our circumstances are not where we want them to be. But if you could just put that aside and realize that, wow, I'm alive right now. Someone just passed away.
Mm.
Someone just passed away right now.
Mm.
And I'm still alive here. I still have the opportunity to be here and serve others and bring life to others. I need to be grateful for that.
Wow.
Because people die every second. And those people that are sick, they're wishing to be where you're at right now. So it's looking back at just trying to remind yourself that,
Beautiful. Absolutely. Well, this has been another amazing episode, 5 Minutes Focus Podcast. I'm your host, John Alvarado. Crystal, thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much.
Look, here's the deal. Don't be surprised if I have Crystal on more often because we can do this all day.
Yes.
So stay tuned. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Crystal, thank you again.
Thank
Until
you,
next time,
John.
we'll talk soon. Take care, guys.